So I wanted to start us off with, let's see, some of the basics. So one of the shortcuts that we recently discovered was when you are going to first start a Google slide, I used to always go into my drive and click in my tabs in the classroom and blah, 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 blah. You could easily just open a new tab and type in slides.new, and it's going to open a brand new slide for you to create. So back in the day of old PowerPoints, we used to love these layout templates. And I think we've realized that in the teaching mode that we are in now, we don't often use it. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do is, and again, you can do this multiple ways. You can come up to layout and you can hit blank and it'll get rid of what's on the screen. You could easily take your little crossbar, highlight that, and then hit delete. So whichever way you do it, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you're most comfortable with. So the first thing I was going to quickly do is putting in those backgrounds because we love making things cutesy as teachers. Of course, we know that when you go to background, when you click on your slide, background will appear, and you can do multiple things. We know that you can easily add your color. Blue. So exciting, but because again, we are teachers, we're like, okay, blue's nice and all for a basic presentation, but what about if I'm doing a tutorial input chart and I want just a plain old color? You can always insert, of course, an image. And so inserting an image, the nice thing, as I mentioned in my previous, was anything Google, everything's pretty much the same. You just, if you know it in one, you almost know how to do it in the other. So one way, of course, is going to Google image search. And if you type in your maps, you pick the map that you wanted to insert, you click insert down at the bottom, and bam, it swapped out my blue to my maps because I'm doing something with, I don't know, whatever. Let's say you're doing a presentation for your staff or something else and you want a cute Bitmoji classroom. If I change my background image again, I could easily upload from my own computer. And so if I go into my pictures, wherever you might have your cute little Bitmoji classrooms, and you're going to make your scene, I don't know, let's say in this classroom, you choose your picture and you can insert the background that way. All right, so that's just a quick little tidbit on, again, the various ways we can insert backgrounds, or you can go to Slides Mania, right? Or Slides Go, and you can pick templates from there, which many of us may have done for things like notebooks. And I can take us there at the end if we have some time. So the next thing I wanted to do is then show us inserting images, and one of my pet peeves with inserting images. Again, multiple ways to do that. You can right click, and when you, because it's on background. I don't want background anymore. So let's go to insert. We're going to insert an image. And again, here's where I can either upload it from my computer pictures. I can search the web. I can go to my Google Drive. I can go to photos. I can take a picture. Geez, no. So let's say I want to insert an image from the web, and I'm going to insert a table. A lot of times with emojis or the Google classrooms like this, you want to do transparent as your search. So if I want this table, I can do two ways. I can check it and then click insert, or I can just drag it in and drop it and wait till it puts it in my classroom. Of course, it's going to be too big, and I'm going to shrink it down.
Am I in the slide?
Huh?
Am I in the learning how to do the slides?
You are welcome.
Okay.
I apologize. I can't see a thing. Just like the classroom.
Okay, I know. I hate it. I hate that part.
In addition, let's say I wanted to do a different search and I want to put on a transparent plant. I don't know. I think I put and this is good enough. Let's pick this guy. Beautiful. So one of the things that would always bother me in putting in images was, let's say I wanted, I wanted the table in front because I want that in the background. You can change the order in which it is placed. So you almost have to look at a slide as if, oh my gosh, like maybe like putting on layers of clothes. So what do you want to have in front, or like a stack of papers? So if I highlight the plant, I can go to arrange. And with arrange, I can change the order, and it will tell me if it's gray, it's already in the front. But if I change it and send it to the back, now I have my table in the front of my plant. So I can extend my table out and it looks as if the plant is in the background. Okay, so that's one nice thing to do with inserting images. The other thing is, I don't really like the way this table, I want it to be flipped the other way. So in order for me to flip it the other way, again, arrange is one of your favorite things when it comes to images. You're going to go to arrange and rotate it. So you can either rotate it 90 degrees, counterclockwise 90, horizontal, or vertically. I typically do horizontally, and there it is, because I want it over in this corner, even though I don't really. Or you can arrange it, rotate it vertically, and now it's upside down. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know, but there it is. So those are just some little tidbit tricks for images. Any questions on that piece of it before I go into taking a look at our template? Oh, I did have one more. I know for me, another frustrating thing is when I Google search from slides, I don't get all the images I necessarily want. So if I open up a tab and let's say I search here, table again, and of course I'm going to get all these other tables that did not appear in my other search for some odd reason. And what I could do is I could take the picture, and if I take a picture and hover over the tab I want to put it in, it's going to now take me to the slide and I can drop it in this way. Okay, so that's just one thing. Now, of course, I don't like that because it's not transparent like this one was. So I'd have to do another search or click in the word transparent. So just know that you could easily go from another tab, hover, and drop. And there it is. Okay. So it was mentioned about, well, this was my favorite thing, you guys. Okay. One of the things I've noticed, and I'm certain you have too, are our students are struggling with typing in so much. I have some items sometimes where they go to their notebook. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly.
Celeste, how are you getting that big arrow in the hand?
I got bored. I don't know when. If you see up here, there is an extension and it's called custom cursor. And so I like to hint to my kids that I like Starbucks, thinking that we were going to go back one day too. And I saw this really cool. So now my cursor is a Starbucks cup. And so it just has some fun things. There's Yoda, there's cats, a whole bunch of things. So it's custom cursor is an extension that I found. Cute, huh? Okay, so something that I know I've noticed with students is when they have to type a lot in Google Slides, they tend to not do the work. So I've shown them how to use tools. And in using tools, what they can do is, that one looks empty. Good. So let's say they read their book and I wanted them to use a frame, and I want them to say, you know, in my opinion, you should or shouldn't read this book for a couple of reasons. First, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, blah, 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 and you can change that up to whatever. So what I would do is I would have them go to tools, click on voice type speaker notes, and a little microphone will pop up, and their information that they read will come down here into the speaker notes at the bottom. Now, it doesn't come out with the periods and the capitals and everything else, unless like on a texting voice message, you say period, question mark. But it would also lead as a great way for them to edit their own work. So as a second language learner, even if I click on this, in my opinion, you shouldn't read this book for a couple of reasons. I'm going to click on stop, and you can see down here that they were then allowed to read it. They were using the frame that was available to them. You could have them copy it, you know, highlight, copy, and paste over here where it's supposed to be, because they had, this is where the thoughts go, and paste it. And then they have to reread it for editing, in my opinion. Oh, she has a comma, let me put a comma. But the voice speaker notes has been a huge help for me in getting my students to answer questions completely from frames, give their opinions on things. So it's almost like a flip grid in a way, without all the fun effects and everything else, because it's linked to actual work. So that was one other thing I wanted to show you. Another goes back to, I think it was was it Lucia? I can't remember now.
Yes.
Okay, was a way to insert videos and different like instructional type things. So the first thing you'll want to do is you will obviously have to go to Screencastify, and whatever you want to teach them, you would have to create your own video of it first. So if I were to use just my webcam or the desktop, which would embed the webcam, it would show everything on my screen, and then I would record that from here. Once you hit record, that's where you're going to get that little picture of you reading a story out loud, and you could have your docucam showing your picture. When you are done, what you would do is, I wanted to put a picture. So what I did was I inserted an image. I went to insert image. I believe I searched camera. I don't know, maybe camera. Oops, camera. Well, let's say I do this one, and I insert it this way, just because I wanted an image for them to click on. Okay. And now I would have needed the link from that Screencastify. So whatever it was you had in Screencastify, like if I go to my recordings, I don't know, let's say this one, who cares, right? And you copy the shareable link. I can go back to my slides, which wasn't that one. There it is. And as this camera is highlighted, now I can either right click. Oh, I can't scroll up because of that thing below. Let me highlight again. I can go up here to where it has the little insert link, and I can paste my Screencastify, and here is the video for them to watch. So that's one way you can do that. So in here, you'll notice that I had told the students, watch this video to remind you of what you have to do with this reading log. So when they click on this camera, I download mine as YouTube videos. When they click on that link, ooh, 2 years later, now they can see me sharing my screen, showing them how to work through the assignment so that they don't forget and say, I didn't remember, things like that. So you again, just go to insert. Another way you could do it is insert video. And when you insert video, you'd have to, of course, have your link from your Screencastify or whatever. So let's say I put that link in here, and then it would search it. Oops, because I didn't do my YouTube link. If you would publish to YouTube, here is where you get your link from that. And you can insert it that way. Let me stop that. Where are you? Right here. All right, guys, are there any questions? I'm noticing, our time is like up. any questions or other things you may want to ask before I send you guys off? Okay, with that said, I want to thank you guys for coming. Megan did want to make sure that we, let me see, stop sharing, that you guys had some chance to go back to that cafe and complete the Google form on if this was something, the whole thing that was worthwhile to you. And maybe they'll do it again some other time with some other more knowledgeable people other than myself.
Celeste, do we go into the chat to find that Google form, or how do we get back to that?
You know what? Let me, I can
It's in
probably,
the slides too, like the slides she shared where the cafe is, it's at the end. It says the Google form there. You can go on there.
Thank you, Celeste.
yes, you're welcome, guys. Hopefully you left at least with one new thing. And maybe you got some pet peeves erased out of your, your list.
Not one, many new things. Thank you. It was great.
Yay.
Thank you, Celeste.
Bye. Hugs, you guys.
I was
Bye.
here.
Oh, I
Thank
miss
you, Celeste. I also
guys.
got a lot of new stuff that I'm gonna
Awesome.
be using.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Celeste.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have a great one. Kelly,
Awesome as always,
Cynthia.
girl.
Thank you. Mwah. Kisses. Bye, Tanya.